Oleksandr Usyk is an undefeated Olympic gold medalist and former undisputed Cruiserweight champion, having recently vacated his titles to claim his first victory at heavyweight. He's accomplished all of this by outboxing every one of his competitors, displaying intelligence, superior timing, and non-stop aggression. In this video, we'll look at how Usyk utilizes skillful boxing to build his offense, transitioning into an aggressive, high-volume combination puncher that steamrolls through competitors in the later rounds. Usyk fights from a southpaw stance, meaning that he and his opponent are usually in an open position with opposite feet forward. This usually makes it far more difficult for each fighter to land their jab, as their arms and shoulders get in each other's way. But like Pernell Whitaker, Usyk is one of the rare fighters who can dominate with their jab while in an open stance. He does this by utilizing a varied, multi-purpose jab, firing it at several targets from several different angles. Many fighters' jabs are the equivalent of a sledgehammer, a blunt instrument trying to crash through. But Usyk's jab is like a rapier, flicking out in multiple directions to pierce through the cracks in his opponent's armor. He probes and bites at his competitor's guard from all different directions, attacking their lead arm, crossing over the center line to their rear arm, or shooting right down the middle. The goal here isn't necessarily to do damage. Instead, Usyk looks to destroy his opponent's trust in their own defenses. In other words, Usyk is a master at completely dismantling his opponent's guard. While grazing shots won't cause a knockout, they will irritate opponents and cause swelling and bruising. What's more, Usyk can use his extended jabs to control his opponent's posture, or keep them at arm's length as he moves around. But more importantly, by targeting different areas of his opponent's guard, Usyk can knock aside their forearms to create openings. Block their vision, or compel them to adjust their guard position. While some fighters have had success with the static high guard, most make nuanced adjustments to deal with each punch. But every time one opening is closed, another is created. And Usyk takes advantage of these new openings to slip through hard shots. Along with switching up his target, Usyk also varies the power of each jab. This keeps his competitors constantly guessing rather than thinking about their own offense. Making actual contact forces reactions from Usyk's competitors in a way that a feint rarely could. Combined with broken rhythm, Usyk leaves his adversaries in a lose-lose situation. They either become conditioned to ignore Usyk's weaker punches, meaning that when Usyk punches his hardest it will easily crash through, or, if they don't ignore each and every jab, they're forced to spend the majority of their time and energy tightening their guard. It's difficult to understand just how draining an effect this can have without experiencing it firsthand, but in many ways, effectively absorbing or deflecting a blow can be a full-body effort. Bracing for impact on each and every one of Usyk's jabs can shut down a fighter's own offense completely, slowing down their movement and demolishing their natural rhythm. On the other hand, the low effort required for Usyk's light, pitter-patter shots keeps him loose and balanced. Usyk's small, precise steps help him to make minute adjustments, which further helps him to remain well-positioned at all times. This means that if his competitors try to slip or duck his jabs, Usyk is in a prime position to quickly and easily track their head. Double jabs are the perfect tool for accomplishing this, as Usyk's first jab will elicit a response, and the second jab will target that reaction. On the rare occasions when Usyk can't dominate with his jab from the start of the fight, for instance, if his opponent has a low guard with good head movement and a decent jab, then Usyk can change his game plan entirely. He'll instead rely on his basic, but fine-tuned counterpunching skills. In this regard, Usyk adheres to many of the same principles as Manny Pacquiao, leaning side to side to slip punches and land intercepting straights. The outside head or foot position will align his rear hand down the center line. And the inside position will align his lead hand. But more often than not, Usyk will return a counter rather than intercept with them. He does this by slipping and pivoting off angle. Slipping or pivoting outside lines up his lead hook or rear straight, while slipping and pivoting inside can set up devastating body shots to the liver. But Usyk will always return to his jab given the opportunity. In other words, Usyk will return to controlling the fight with his jab once his opponent has been beaten down enough to stop posing a real threat. It's at this point that Usyk will use his jab to set up power punches, starting with simple 2 or 3 punch combinations involving lead hooks and uppercuts, and then working his way up to insanely complex flurries. By the end of the fight, Usyk is usually raining down a torrent of punches on his competitors, the sheer volume overwhelming them to the point of paralysis. Throwing 3-punch combinations is dangerous enough against a professional fighter, but Usyk will throw up to 5 or 10. He'll often double or triple up with the same hand as he does so. This breaks his opponent's natural left-right movement pattern, and they often find themselves defending the wrong side. Usyk will also change head slots and sidestep offline every few punches, which allows him to set up new angles while staying safe. So far, the pressure and non-stop punishment have proven too much for Usyk's competitors to handle. That said, Usyk has recently moved up to heavyweight, something few men not named Evander Holyfield have had any success with. It will be exciting to see just how far he can go, and I, for one, am very much looking forward to finding out. If you're interested in learning some of the techniques that Usyk uses, you can check out my books on footwork, defense, and power, all linked below. From the Modern Martial Artist, this has been David Christian, wishing you happy training.